Mesachta Mesachta Zevachim Daf Samach Dalar Amud Aleph. We're starting from the second line from the bottom. From the bottom, yeah. From the top. From the top. Okay. Here we go. Shleisha Dvarim. We said there are three things that were in the southern western corner, which they use the bottom of the Chut HaSikra. If you remember, the Chut HaSikra was the red line that went around the Mizbeach, and some of the Kabbanis went above the red one line. And Chatas Ha'oif was. We're going to talk about it soon. So there are three things that were in the southern western, but under the Chut HaSikra, like the blood of the Chatz Ha'oif was under the Chut HaSikra, or bringing the mincha before you did the kmitza, you would have to bring it in front of the Mizbeach, touch the Mizbeach. Which part of the Mizbeach did you touch the mincha with? Under the red line. And we had the Shiyari Adam, the remnants of the blood. After you did the sprays, what do you do with the rest of the blood? You put it down the drain that was on the southern western side, under the red line of the Mizbeach. The Yisod, the foundation, yes. We know that it's done on the southern western side. This is what we said before. It says that a mincha is called chatasi, right? And since the mincha is called chatas, we compared chatas to mincha. That's what we did yesterday. So just like a mincha was in the first of all in the southern western corner, so just like a mincha, so too a chatas is in the southern western corner. What about hagoshes? The bringing the mincha before the kmitza, it had to be brought also to the southern western corner. So where do we know that? Because the chesiv, it says al pnei hamizbeach, has to be facing the mizbeach. So that's the southern, because the mizbeach, we said, let's say it was all in Safin. So we're talking about the end of the mizbeach was in Darim, the front of the mizbeach, but we also said it has to face the heichal. And facing the heichal is western. It says Lefnei Hashem. So we know it had to be southern western corner. Okay, what about Shishiyari Adam? Where's the mucker that the remnants of the blood has to be poured in the southern western corner? From this that it says the chesiv, it says in the pasuk, it's called Dama Par. All the rest of the blood of the par. You should pour down the foundation. Where was the foundation? It says Pesach Oil Meid, facing the Oil Meid, which is western, and the Yisod, we know the drains were on the southern corner, southern western corner. Okay. Then we learned there were three avodas that were done above the red line. Milamayla. Milamayla means above the red line on the southern western corner. What were the three things? Nisach hamayim, the libation of the water, the pouring the water, which was on sukkahs. Nisach hayayim, which came with heavy carbon, which was also above the red line. Oilas ha'if. Before we spoke about Chatas Ha'if. Chatas Ha'if is below the red line on the southwestern corner. Oilas Ha'if, it was even on a different corner, but it was above the red line, but it was Mizrach, the southern eastern corner. But Kishihiraba, the Mizrach, when there was too many Kabbanis on the southern eastern corner, then they would go to the southern western corner. So at my time, what is the reason that by the Oilas Ha'oif it was in the southern eastern corner? What's the reason for it? Says Rabbi Yochanan says because that is the closest to the Beis Hadashim. I'll show you the Beis Hadashim if I have the picture of a Mizbeach over here somewhere. The big picture where they burnt the ash. So if I have the, let me see if it's the beginning, and then
so if we're looking back at this picture,
I can't find it. You have that picture? Which page was it? Nun Hey?
And the para Chamishi.
Right.
Between Chamishi and Shishi.
Right. Right. So right here. If you look over here, the Beis Hadashim was right here. So they would come down. This is the eastern side of the Mizbeach. Here. Take this way. This Mizbeach was towards the western. This is the southern
Where
western.
was the Mizbeach? Where was it situated?
Let's say it was all in Safin. It doesn't matter. But right now,
So these two corners were
but
used
this
for-
side is called the Mizrach.
No, he said Marabis.
Yeah. Marav is Draimis. This is the Marav is Draimis of the
And
Mizbeach.
this is the other one.
And this one is the Mizrach Tzreimis. So the drains were here. But when it came to the Beis Hadashem, is when they took down the ash, they would put it here and it would disappear. It would get swallowed into the ground. It was a miracle. We learned in Rashi how it worked.
So where was it? Where,
So the Eilis Ha'if was
where was the
right here. Like,
that's what they did.
that's where they put all the ashes of the Menorah and all the ashes that there were of the Kabbanis was placed over here.
And it disappeared.
And it disappeared. It swallowed into the ground.
Otherwise, you had to have a whole garbage collection of it.
No, so otherwise you would have correct. Yeah, you're right. Says Gemara. So why did they do it on the eastern? Why did they use the southern eastern side? Because that's where the place where the ashes got swallowed into the ground. Yeah, on that side. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan says
This is called Savinus, not Savinus.
that's called Mizrach.
This is Durham.
Mis-
This is Durham, and this is Suffolk.
Right.
This is
Okay.
Myra is always to the right. If you look at Myra,
We're gonna talk.
north is
Yeah. Rabbi Yochanan said, look how strong the Kahanim were. What kind of strength they had. There was there's nothing lighter than the crop and the feathers. At times they had to throw such a light thing so far that it's above 30 amas, that's like 60 feet.
Right.
61 feet. A little bit above.
Depending where they were standing, right? Where were they standing? Look at the
Oh,
bottom
we're going to talk about it in a second. One
Yeah,
second. The Tanan that we learned from the
You're the
Mishnah,
only guy who can still reach it.
you have to have a good arm, a football arm.
Good picture.
That's
a
the only
picture
one
of
who can
football.
hit it, at this point.
The Tanan that we learned from the Mishnah, we're going to go through the Cheshbon, how it is that it's more than 30 amas. I'm going to soon show you, but let's learn first the words. If not, we learned from the Mishnah, but again to the Avodah of that the Kohen would pick up the ash, and how would he go? He would pick it up with a silver spoon, bring it down to Mizbeach, come back, make a U-turn, a 180 turn back off the ramp. The ramp went 32 amas. Then he made a U-turn. He went 10 amas where the Beis Hadeshem was. So it was how many amas away from the Mizbeach? The ramp was 32 amas.
Right.
But then when you had to go to the Beis Hadeshem, you made a 180 turn, a U-turn,
Yeah.
and you went back towards Tzafin, another 10 amas. So that was like 22 amas away from the Mizbeach. Originally, the end of the ramp is 32, but you're coming back 10 amas. So this is what he's going to say over here. He says, "Not tamachta shal kesvi ala leisham mizbeach." He took a silver shovel. He went up to the top of the mizbeach. Upina zagichal melech ve'elech. He moved the good coals to the side,
coals.
because they were still burning coals. And then what would he take? What would he scoop up? The chasam in amukala is happening is he would take up the burnt coals that were already worthless, and that's what he would scoop up. And then yoydet, he would go down the mizbeach. He gila itzvah
go
once.
down the ramp.
We'll go down the whole ramp, which is 32 amas.
Here it says it's
With a silver
30,
spoon.
32.
They use a silver spoon for that?
31 because the ramp itself was 32. We'll talk about
They
that
had
later.
to use a silver spoon for that?
The silver shovel.
Oh.
Yeah. He gila itzvah once he reached to the ground at the end of the ramp. Marse Panav, he would make a U-turn, a 180 turn, clap it off, and going back towards he would go back into the ramp, like on the bottom of the ramp, 10 amas back in. So es amas, like kas amas, like 10 amas, he would go back in. The pile of the coals that he removed from the mizbeach, al gabi haritzbot that was on the floor of the azara, rachik min hakevesh shleisha tefachim, had to be a distance of 3 tefachim. It couldn't be right next to the mizbeach; it would burn the mizbeach. So you couldn't have it mamish right here by the wall of the mizbeach. It will burn. So they moved it 3
what's it gonna
tefachim.
burn?
The coals were hot still.
So what were they going to burn?
So we can't put it up against the wall of the mizbeach; it would burn the mizbeach.
What was that made
That
of?
was
Well, even stone, but it will blacken the walls. You don't want that. So it's 3 tefachim away. Okay, so he says 3 tefach. Makan sheneisnin murva neitzet, the place where they placed the crop with the feathers, v'dishin mizbeach hapnimi v'amenayra, and there would also the mizbeach hapnimi, whatever was left, were ashes of the mizbeach hapnimi, and whatever there was left in the menorah, like the psilois, the wicks,
Okay.
they burnt it. Sure, they
I
burnt
know
it.
they burnt it, but it pretty much went down to nothing. But I guess
No,
nothing had to go to
look, every Hanukkah you're left with the psilos. What are you supposed to do with it? You're supposed to burn it. That's the halacha in Shulchan Aruch. So here, now we're going to show you how it was 30 yamas more. Turn the page, and you have a diagram. If you turn your page,
Yeah.
you'll see here's a diagram. Okay, we're going to follow that diagram. The mizbeach, the width of the mizbeach was 32.
Okay.
The width of the ramp was 18. I'm 16.
The
Half.
width and the length. The length.
I'm only going to talk about the width now.
Okay.
The width of the mizbeach was 32. The width of the ramp was 16. So look what's going on.
32 and
So
16.
32 and 16. So if the ramp is facing the mizbeach, you have 8 amis on each side because it's 16 plus 16 is 32.
Yeah.
So it was smack in the middle. So it took 16 amis of the mizbeach in the middle. How much was left over on each side? 8, because it was 32. It was 32. So he says, look, now
Bring in
how,
three.
you have to divide. You have to minus from the 8 amis from each side. Why? Because the yesod, the foundation, part of that side that you're counting 8 is the foundation is 1 amma. Then in the middle of the mizbeach there was a ledge where the kohen would go around and do the avodah. So a ledge that came out another amas, 2 amas, and then you had the horn. There were 4 corners that had like horns, boxes, 4 boxes around each one. That's a third amma. So 3 minus 8 is 5. So 5 plus 16
21.
is 21. Now, you said, how long was the Mizbeach? 32. It went down. Then we said he went back 10 amas. So 10 minus 32 is 22, right? And then the person stood outside the 22, that's 23. He says, take that extra amma where the person is standing and add it to this side. So it should be like a square, half a square. So it should be a half a square. This way it should be 22, and this way it should be 22. So once you have 22 by 22, the diagonal of a square, that's 22 by 22, you add, it says 1 and 2/5. Here, you see, 22,
What's the algebraic formula?
20, every time you have a diagonal, square diagonal, it's 1 and 2/5 more. So if you add one now here, we're talking about the square was 22. 22 times 1 and 2/5 is 30 and 33 quarters. 30 and 3/4. Where was he throwing it from? We said he was throwing it from the southern western side, and he had to reach. He had to be a good basketball player. He had to make sure it hits here. So if it's from here to here on the diagonal, that's how we know it's more than 30 amas. It's 30 and 3/4. But we also know that the Beis Hadeshim was not exactly at the end of the diagonal. It was three tvachim further. And so it was more than 30 and 3/4. It was already 31 and something. So in fact, it's not more than 30 that he threw. He threw more than 31. Because if it's 22 by 22, so it's 1 and 2/5. And 1 and 2/5 times 22 is 30 and 3/4. And then you said that the ash was 3 tvachim further. 30 and 3/4 plus another 3 tvachim is more than 31. So why'd you say he threw above 30 amas? You should have said he threw further than 31 amas. Says the Gemara, because Mekayim Gavi Lechashav. How did you have that it was 22 by 22? Because you added the place of where the guy was standing another amma. He says that part don't count. Deduct that amma. So it's more than 30 ammas.
So what was the case supposed to be?
Huh?
Where the case supposed to stand?
No, the kohen stood here. No, it doesn't matter. We don't count the place where he's standing as an amma. We don't count that. But we see that they had to throw 30 ammas. That's
How
how.
much, about 2 feet? Is that what you meant?
Huh?
Amos about approximately what?
2 feet. 60 feet. It's nothing. I'm joking. It's a lot. Okay. Huh?
5-story building, probably.
Yeah,
About
but
50.
that's true too. But I'm saying the
Long,
distance
still.
is crazy. It's like this whole length of the house.
A bow is a bow without feathers.
Feathers. We're not talking about ball. We're talking about feathers and cup that was so light. You had to throw it really hard. Okay, talk to your mother. We learned in the Mishnah Kol Ha'ilam
And you
Mizbeach.
never missed?
Who? They were pretty good at it, it seems like. Kol Ha'ilam Mizbeach. Whoever went up the Mizbeach, we said whenever you go up the Mizbeach, you have to always go to the right. Right? So you always Kol Ha'Pena, Pena L'Yamin. How you're turning here right. Here it's L'Chayra left. So we said you're facing this way, and you as covered the Mizbeach, you're facing this way, and when you turn, you're turning with your shoulder right. So it's always right. Says the Gemara. So this was the Nischam Kol Ha'ilam Yaminu Makifin, and then they surrounded the whole Mizbeach. They went all around the Mizbeach, and then they came down the left side. That was the Nischai Mayim B'Hayayin and Eilas Ha'ev. That was everything else except for the Nischai Mayim B'Hayayin Eilas Ha'ev. They would go up on the Mizbeach on the left side. They wouldn't go on the right side, even though normally you're supposed to turn to the right. But when it came to the Nischai Mayim B'Hayayin and the Eilas Ha'ev, they would go on the left side. In fact, in one of my time, what's the reason why these three Avedas, they didn't have to turn to the right? Rabbi Yochanan explained, because Nesachim take the libation of water or wine. Wine was used the whole year. If the Kohen is going to go with the wine and he's going to have to go around the whole Mizbeach, all around, till he comes to the left side and pour down the wine, the Mizbeach is smoking. It's secondhand smoke. It's terrible. It's very dangerous. It goes into the wine. It's not kavadik for Hashem. So we tell him, take a shortcut, go to the left side, pour it down so the wine is still fresh. Not smoked wine. You don't want smoked wine. No, the smoking, the emurim were burning, and it came in the same time. So we told him, Shemi is hashno. Maybe when the kohen surrounds the mizbeach, the wine will get ruined from the smoke, and so to the water. Farechen. So, and it's possible. Says, what about the bird? Why did he have to take the shortcut? He says, because Shema Tamus Ba'ashem, because the bird could die from secondhand smoke. Don't smoke. Yeah. So here you say smoking secondhand smoke is dangerous. You should have quoted the Mishnah over here. The Gemara. Yeah. The Gemara Umindu. So the Gemara asks a question on this following Mishnah. You're saying that the Kohen would not go with the wine all around the Mizbech and then pour it down in its place. He would take a shortcut to the left and drop the wine. Well, I'll show you if I cared. If when the Kohen Gadol who burned the Keteris after burning, the Kohen Gadol decided he has the choice of doing all the Avedas. So he decided he wants to burn the Evadim and do Nischayayim. So he burned the Evadim of the Tamid. He went around the whole Mizbeach and also to pour down the wine. From which corner did he start? He started from the eastern side. That's to the right. You mean if you're going from here up on the Mizbeach, which is the right, Mizrachis. The Mizrachis Degnis. So he went around, and here is where he had to pour the wine. So the Kohen Gadol went all around, and then and you said that it's by the time he comes around, it's smoked wine. So what is this going? What's going on here? He said, and he would go Mizrachis Tzvenis Maravis Dreimis. He went all the corners. He went around. He did the whole Hakafa. And then
that it would smoke the wine. How long was that walk around?
It was a walk. It was a 32 amas, 32 amas, 32 amas, quite a walk. By the time he
40,
finished,
50 feet, no?
more, 60 feet each side.
Right, you go three sides.
Three sides. By the time he comes,
feet.
a little bit more, you have to make that little turn and drop it over there. Whoa, smoked wine. And you said that he took the shortcut not to smoke the wine. And it says, that's where he placed the Nayin Yasa.
Where did he place it? Where did he put the wood?
He put it in the Maravis Draimis by the two drains.
So after he went
all around, and then he came and he turned a little bit on Durham Maravis on the southern western side, and then he poured it out. But Rabbi Yochanan says, no, Hakafa B'Ragel. It doesn't mean he was going with the wine. He went around the whole circle with his feet. And then,
he just took a walk?
He walked around, and they would give him the wine right before.
How long did it take him to walk? A good half hour?
I don't know. It takes a while to walk on that ledge all around.
He's not running? I mean,
They were fast. It says they were zirizin.
So he was walking behind the wine. He was walking.
He didn't walk with the wine. I'll bring you. He didn't walk with the wine. It says in the pasuk when he surrounded, when after circling the whole mizbeach and he came to Marav Davis, it says that's when they gave him the wine.
Right.
So he didn't go with the wine around.
Why couldn't he go originally to Jesus
To the left, because he also was burning the Murim.
So
He had to go that way. He had to go that way to burn the Murim.
So he wasn't just walking; he was taking
He took the Murim and burned, and you don't go backwards; you go around.
So he's got to continue.
And usually you do it with Nisra with the pouring of the wine. Like it was a second coin that did the Nisra Yayin. He wanted to do everything. And Kohen Gadol has the choice of doing everything. But like Katani Nasr, it doesn't say, start off also with the Nisich Sayayin with your burning day motive. It doesn't say that. It says that he walked around and noised and then they gave him at the end the wine. Okay, Shmamina is a good raya. Tanu Rabbanim Lent. Kol ha'oilen mizbeach. Whoever went up on the mizbeach, oilen derech yamin, v'yoyden derech small. They went out. This again. He's telling you how they went. They started off mizrachis, the reimis, up mizrachis tzveinis. Then they went from mizrachis tzveinis to Maravis tzveinis. Then Maravis dreimis. They went around. Okay.
No cutting corners.
Huh?
No cutting corners.
No cutting corners.
Isn't that what we say in davening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chutz min ha'oila
Zach,
yeah. You say that in Zevachim. Chutz min ha'oila l'shlosh d'marim ha'lalu. Except for these three things, the nisach hamayim.
Different meaning when I read.
Right. Except for the nisach, the pouring of the wine, the libation of the water, and the libation of the wine, and the other side. She'oilim derech ma'ariv. They went straight to the left. The Remis Maravis, if you look on the picture, is on the left. The western side, when you're coming up this way, is to your left. So they went left right away. So you see the finish, they went left. And they came down from the left side also. That's it. They didn't go around the corner. Because once you're going left, there's no mitzvah of going around making the circles. If you're going right or making a whole bunch of right circles, then you go around. If you're going left, just try to minimize the left sides.
Make a U-turn.
Make a
So
U-turn.
obvious, yeah.
That's why it's not good to be a lefty. You have to minimize the left. In fact, the western side you consider the right side. You're saying it was derech yimin. When they went on the western side, they went up derech yimin. It's not derech yimin. It's the left. When coming from the floor of the mizbeach and you're going maravas dreinis, that's to the left. Yeah.
I'm going to the left. Okay.
You're really going to the left. This is the western, southern side. So when you're coming from here, you're taking a left. So what do you think? It's all right. It says it says the left. I mean, I've been small. You have to correct it. Learn small. What do you mean corrected? I'm not into corrections over here. My yamin. What does it mean? Yamin the mizbeach. That means if you're on the top of the mizbeach, then Maravis Dreinis is on the right. My small. What does it mean small? Small the gavra. If you're standing on the floor, it depends where you're standing. Standing on the mizbeach, Maravis Dreinis is to the right. Like a mirror. But if you're standing on the floor, it's to the left.
Because if you're standing on here, you're turning this way.
If you're standing on the mizbeach, and you're going to the right, that's your right. But if you're standing on the floor, it's to the left. Okay, but how could you learn in one Mishnah? You say one time to the right. You're talking about the guy standing on the mizbeach, and then one time to the left. Yeah, and you're standing on the left. You say we mean two things, but it's the same direction. It's the same corner. So learn even this thing. Either talk about that you're only counting the direction from standing from the mizbeach looking downward, or learn either the gavra, look from the guy who's standing on the floor going up on the mizbeach, and learn both. It's left. Why are you learning a mixture? One time you're saying right, and you call it right. One time left. What are you mixing us up for? Says you want kasha. It's not a good question. Okay. Zog the Mishnah. Chatas ha'oiv ketzad. Hoisanaisis. How did they sacrifice the chatas ha'oiv? Oilas ha'oiv. Now it's chatas ha'oiv. So he says, we'll skip the brackets.
What was the purpose of it?
For a chatas. For sin.
Oila
is you bought oif. Yeah, it's oila b'yodet. Hoya melech esroshim emul arpa. They did a malika, so the malika was on the back of the neck, not in the front, in the back. And we're going to soon see how the kohen held the bird and he did the malika. He's soon going to say it.
But you really can't do a malika in the front, unless you bend this neck all the way back.
Right.
This way.
Well, this way you also have to bend it all the way front. We'll soon see. And you don't separate the head from the body. What does it mean?
It's still hanging.
You don't cut. So we don't mean literally you separate the head from the body. By a behema, shechita has to be beside the kana and the veshet, the windpipe with the esophagus. There you go. So it's those two pipes. So you're only supposed to cut one siman by melika. And if you're doing two simanim, if you cut two simanim, it's like you separated the head from the body. By the oif. Here he says, "Lefi Rashi, isu lachtich shnei hasimonim. Anu gamas hakona v'gamas haveshet. Afili madayin aroish mechubel guf. Even if the reish is still connected to guf, what does it mean? It's still v'zayis kivan shel shchit soiv nidish lachtich rak simen achot. You only have to cut one simen. Either one. Kasha meilek yoisim mashenitzer lehersha shchitase nechshav lehabdol. It's as if you separated the head from the body. And it's possible, he says. Right. And you spray from the blood on the wall of the mizbeach. Sheyori adam, the leftover blood that's in the body of the bird. You would squeeze it out by the foundation of the mizbeach. And the only thing that you placed on the mizbeach of the oif was the blood. But the meat you could eat. By normal chatas, you also burned a murim on it, the fats. Let me just finish. V'kula lakahanim. And the bird, the chicken, you can roast it. You can use the chicken for yourself. Old chicken went for the kahanim. What?
Would you do the malika over here?
Yes.
This spot.
By the
You
wall.
Up and you make it turn here and you do the
Malika, correct.
So some things you could do without going around.
And the kohen doesn't need the oif?
We said by
That's the furthest corner. What if you're doing something in the front corner? You just walk right to it. You have to walk around and go all the way back.
Normally you would have to walk around just to
Always pass it and then walk back to it.
But when it came to Behim, you had to do the full circle.
Yeah.
When it came to Oif, you had to get rid of the crop and the feathers. So that had to be by the Beis Hadesh.
Cup is the zepek?
Is the Zevachim.
So the shachting all took
So
place in the same corner.
so that corner, you had to go that corner because that's in order to throw it. It
Right.
shouldn't have to be so far in order to get it in the Beis Hadesh.
And the kohen doesn't need the oif? Only
The kohen, or kula lakahanim.
The oif.
But the oif, the kahanim eat it fully. But by Hema, the fats has to be burned on the
So
mizbeach.
when they took the zepek, where they dumped it? Over here?
By the Beis Hadeshim.
Right over here?
Yes, on the mizach of the kevesh,
Okay.
the dreimes mizachis,
It's over here.
Yeah.
Same place where you shafted it.
correct.
Where you did the
The
malika.
malika. That's considered a shechita. That's the correspondence of
And
the
that's also
correspondence.
where you did
The blood. It says by chatas oif, he's medama chatas. You should spray from the blood of the chatas, mikuf chatas, from the body of the chatas. Okay, so how is this done from the goof of the bird? Oiches bareish baguf. He holds the body with the head, umazeh, and he sprays. He
with the bird.
the whole bird. He gives a spray with the bird, and the blood comes flying out of the bird onto the wall.
Bird is dead
Al
already.
Kiram is Beya.
Bird is dead already.
Yeah, he did a malika. Al Kiram is Beya. He gives a wave, and it goes on the wall of his Beya. V'lo yalkir hakevesh. Not on the wall of the ramp. V'lo yalkir ha'heichel. Not on the wall of the heichel. V'lo yalkir ha'ulam. And not on the wall of the ulam. You remember, there was the heichel. This is the ulam wall, and this is the heichel wall. No matter what, you're not here, only on here, on the mizbeach, on the wall of the mizbeach, not on the ramp even.
But he's on the mizrach side already. So that's
On the
further-
mizrach.
That's further away from the.
Yeah, but he can go around and start spraying over there. We're telling you not there.
Couldn't do it. Okay.
Only where on the mizbeach, and he says which part of the mizbeach. The on the wall of the mizbeach, zakir hatachtin. He means on the bottom of the chut hasikra. Maybe it means above the chut hasikra. Says I can learn out from Makava Chema. Uma behema. Shailas lamata. When it comes to behema, which is a oila, the behema animal, it was lamata, a behema. Oila went under the chut
With the
hasikra,
red line.
under the red line. Chatos, a behemoth that's a chatos, went lemaila, went above the red line. Halt up a second. Now, oif she'oila say, a bird which is a oila, is the opposite of a behemoth oila. A bird that's a oila went above the red line. Lemaila. And a chatos, even a chatos behemoth went above the red line. If it was a bird for sure, if a chatas bird for sure should go above the red line. Talmud Loimer comes the pasuk and tells us that the remnants of the blood, the leftover blood, should be placed into the foundation of the mizbeach. The wall, which part of the wall that if you sprayed it, and now it's going, or you squeeze it against the wall would drip straight into the Yisod. Which is the wall? Which part of the wall will go straight into the Yisod? Hatachten. Only the part of the wall that was beneath the red line. Why? Let's see. Above the red line, you had, over here is the red line, like an amma before the ledge. But above the red line means that you could even put it higher than the ledge. So if you squeeze the blood, there will be an interference because of the ledge, and it wouldn't go down all the way to the Yisod. It wouldn't go down to the foundation. That's why they did it up under the red line, so there's not going to be any interference going straight down to the Yisod.
And what if it's a behemoth? You said you do it on the...
A behemoth is lamat. A behemoth what? Chatas is lamayla. A behemoth oila is lamayla. No, a behemoth has much more blood. We're not worried. A oif has so little blood, one interference is gone. Talking about a navid me'iloi, he says, do one spray above the red line, and then do another one on the bottom of the red line.
What do you accomplish?
You accomplish both psukim. He says the Kal V'Chema tells you it should be above the red line, the Kal V'Chema, and then because of interference, we'll do another one under the red line. So everybody will be happy. The Kal V'Chema will be perfect. So there'll be a little bit of blood for the top, and you hold a little bit, and then you go to the bottom and let it drip down to the Yisod. Amarava miksiv yematzah.
Make a bloody mess.
So Rav answers what it says. Yematzah. He squeezes it. No, which is mashma that the kohen has to do another mitzvah. Yematzah ksiv, meaning the memela mashma that it's mashma that it drops itself to the Yisod of the Mizbech. Not that it has to come from your koyach to make it drip down. You're doing a second time. Really, it's enough to do one mitzvah. Why are you doing another mitzvah? Because that mitzvah, you need to do it in order from your koyach to come down to the Yisod. Because you couldn't rely on your mitzvah above the red line. And here the pasuk is mashma that it's supposed to come down on its own. Yes. Not that you have to do a special koyach again that it should go down.
So that's why you can only be down
only under the red line. Correct. Rav Zut Bar Tuvia said the name of Rav. Ketzad milk in Chatzoiv. How do we do melika with a Chatzoiv? Oiches Gapov.
Didn't we just explain that?
No, now we're going to show you how it's done literally. Oiches Gapov. You put it in your palm, right? B'shtei etzbos, and Gapov is the wings. You put it in the palm of your hands, right? And you hold the two wings with these two fingers, and the 2 feet with these 2 fingers, right? And you're holding the
small birds?
A bird.
Small birds?
And then you take
Like giving a dove, they're not so big.
and then you take the head and you bend it over
With the other hand, right?
with the other hand, and then you use this hand and you go. You do the malika. That's one shot. Yeah. He cuts the neck on the width of his thumb. I mean, he stretches. First, he stretches hatzavar of the neck of the bird above his thumb.
How does he stretch with his thing?
He takes his hand. He's holding the wings and the feet. It's not moving. Now he takes the head and he pushes it over. And he uses
he's smoked out, he's not moving. The bird was smoked out, it wasn't moving.
No, because he's holding the wings and he's holding the feet.
You see when they shecht by kaparas, there's always somebody
That's
helping you
they do it in the front. That's with a chalaf.
Yeah, but there's always somebody helping
Easier to
you.
twist the head down and back.
Okay.
It's a small head.
But they would do it on like this. They would put the bird this way, and they would put the feet here and the wings here, right? And then they would put it. He would do it. He would do it between these two fingers and use one hand to do the malika. He did the whole thing with one hand. That was he held the wings of the bird with two fingers.
That had big head.
Yeah, Ushnei Raglayim, Vlasovsky hands. Ushnei Raglayim and 2 feet, Vishtei Etzvais, with another 2 fingers. Umoiser Tzavari ala Reichev, and he would stretch the neck on the width of the finger, Shtei Etzvais, 2 fingers, because it seems like he did it between these 2 fingers, the wings and the feet. So then he would go over 2 fingers and then cut with this one. Zuhi, says the Gemara, I'm sorry. Zu Aveda Kasha Shabamikdash. This was a very hard Aveda in the base of Mikdash. Zuhi V'sulay. This was the only. You're saying Zuhi. This was the hard Aveda that was done in the base of Mikdash. No other Avedas were hard. What are you talking about? Va'ika Kmitza. The Chafina Kmitza was that you were able to do a Kmitza even on something that was baked, and then you had to really clean off both sides, but it had to be full. It had to be exact, and it had to be full, and you had to deal with the crumbs coming off. Sometimes you knock off too much crumbs, you back to empty. You know,
In other words, you had to have full onto the 3 fingers.
on the thing, it had to be full and exact, and it was very hard. Or the chafina, you had to carry the ketayas with both hands, and you had to pour the ketayas with his mouth, with a spoon. It was a whole mice and humor. I don't remember all the details, but it wasn't that
The way
easy.
we get the chametz into the spoon,
But I'm saying the ketayas.
Yeah, with the spoon. in the mouth.
Yeah, it was
Was Aveda Kosher also?
sure. That's the Gemara's kasha. Says the Gemara, Alayim Zu Aveda Kasha, Me Avedas Kasha Mikdash. This was one of the hard Avedas that were in the base of Mikdash. Right,
Top 10.
top 10. Okay. We could do some of
How
this.
many questions did they have, really?
I don't know. I have to ask ChatGPT. We'll get
No,
to it
look
soon.
it up, look it up.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say over here. Says the Gemara, Oilas Ha'iv Kates and Nasas. We'll go for another 5 minutes. I don't know what time is Ma'ariv. Oh, 3 minutes. Oh, 10 after. So we'll do the Mishnah tomorrow. I don't want to verhack the Mishnah. The Mishnah is till the next blot. This is next stomach. It's a lange Mishnah.
Ik wil het wel gespetten. Zo'n wilde gedachte.